Hey everyone, it's Armor Gaming. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Monster Legends. It is time to talk about one of the most anticipated monsters of Monster Legends, the upcoming Ghostrange maze monster, Spekthra. The reason this monster is one of the most anticipated monsters is because this monster has Pierce. Take a look at that. At rank 3 you have Self Pierce, but even ignoring rank 3 you have some Pierce skills. So let's talk about this monster, whether or not she's worth getting, whether or not she's going to influence the meta. This is going to be an analysis video, so I am just going to go in depth on all my thoughts about this monster, what I think, and then I really want to hear from you guys, the community, so make sure to comment below all your guys' thoughts on this monster. So let's start off with the lore. As a bow champion, Spekthra had many admirers, but she also had haters. She also had many haters. One of those haters was Malaire, who had unsuccessfully tried to recruit her many times. At one point, he felt humiliated by her refusals and concluded that if she wasn't part of his team, that she was his enemy. He sent his entire squad of supervillains to her training center, kidnapped her trainers and family, and tried to kill her. While Malaire is truly a supervillain, he succeeded only partially, and Spekthra survived as a ghost. So I guess she did die then, so he did succeed. To this day, she remains alone in her training center, planning her revenge against the supervillain so that she can rescue her loved ones, and so that is how this monster came to be. So she's a female, superhero, mechanical, oh finally a good mechanical monster, and corrupted of course. So she's a magic attacker with pierce and debuff skills like negate, healing, vulnerable, guard down. Evolving trait at rank 0 she has true vision. I love True Vision, especially on a Pierce monster. She's never ever going to miss any of her attacks. At rank 1 she gets energized. Not a fan of this. This is terrible, and I've been mentioning this. With the exception of like Mouseron that has a 50% shield, all these rank 1 traits are really bad. At rank 3 you get a status caster gaining Pierce at the start of every battle, which is amazing. If you get this monster, you definitely want to get this monster to rank 3 so you can utilize any of her skills from the very beginning. Alright, let's talk stats. Her life stat, 84,448. That is the lowest of all of the corrupted monsters, meaning she is the squishiest of the bunch. But then what's interesting about this monster are that both her power stat and her speed stat are the highest in the game. So she's the squishiest of the corrupted monsters, but has the highest power and speed. So her power, 8624, is higher than that of Colonel Pip, who had the power stat of 8558. So she beats him by quite a bit, a couple points. As for the speed stat, she's actually tied with 3 other monsters, Equalaria, Leaflin, and Igoribuki. So it's interesting because we normally don't get such fast, strong attackers like this. But of course she is squishy. For her trait, we already went over it. The True Vision is nice, the Self Pierce is nice, not a fan of Energized whatsoever. In terms of her relics, she can hold a Sword Relic, which is, I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen considering she's an attacker, and she can hold the Amulet. So with the Amulet, there's 2 ways to go about it. You can go with Charizard's Amulet, that way you can drain enemy stamina, or you can go with Tiny's Amulet. And with the Tiny's Amulet, you're going to be able to counteract anytime you get hit with stamina draining relics. So this monster is basically, and of course we have to take, as much as you guys don't want to hear it, we have to take into consideration this monster with the Unrelenting Assault, because that is one way you can utilize her, right? To get a bunch of extra turns, to keep attacking, utilizing the Pierce mechanic. But another thing to consider is that because this monster has Pierce, and we have more obscure talents in the game, she can also be utilized a number of different ways. For example, right now we have an obscure talent that you would get if you get the race monster Neurofunk, Dispelling Fist. With that obscure talent, you remove positive effects from the enemy. So it's going to be possible with this monster having herself Pierce if she does the AoE skill against the enemy and runs Dispelling Fist instead of Unrelenting Assaults. So for all the free-to-play players out there, you're going to be able to remove positive effects from everyone. So the way this would work is, let's say you're facing a Pierce Megaton base. You're fighting a Mouseron, you're fighting an Ollie, and you're fighting, I guess, a mirror match, a Spekthra. Or let's say the player's still using Cosmic Monsters, a Vanoss 2099. You are going to be able to remove Megatons, and remove the Pierce from the enemy Vanoss. So if you're running Megatons, now the enemy Vanoss is forced to attack your Megaton monster. If your Megaton monster is running a Soul Drag, when Vanoss kills your Megaton monster, potentially you kill Vanoss. So it's going to be interesting the way this monster can be utilized. Remember, she has the fastest speed, tied with a couple of others, but she is super fast, so she can attack whoever she wants. You can run her with Dispelling Fist to go first, and just remove positive effects across the board. Dispelling Fist has 2 uses, if I'm not mistaken, so she can do that twice. And so for those of you that have Unrelenting Assault, if she's your monster that removes positive effects, you can have someone else run Unrelenting Assault. Or, of course, she can be used as an attacker. So in terms of ruining her, I'm letting you know right now, You can go 3 speed, you can go 2 strength and a speed, you can go 2 speed and a strength. There's going to be multiple different ways you can utilize this monster. She's one of those monsters, because of her trait, because of Pierce, you're going to be able to, and with the combination of the Unrelenting Assaults and the Dispelling Fist and any future talents that get added, especially if they have effects, you're going to be able to utilize this monster for a long time to come, in my personal opinion. Just imagine if we ever get a talent that applies Curse to the enemy. Like, I don't know if SocialPoint would do that, but let's just suppose we get a Curse. When the enemy monster's damage, applies Curse. This monster is going to be able, because of her Pierce trait, do an AoE, give everyone Curse. And spoiler alert, she also has an AoE Burning, so then the enemy would have Curse and Burning. So I want to start off by this, by just mentioning the potential utility she has because of her trait, because of the Pierce. It's pretty powerful. With that said, let's talk about her skill set. So this is where we're gonna see how good she's gonna be. I mean, again, she already has Pierce. I've kind of already alluded to a lot of it, but yeah, let's talk about her skill set. And again, I want to get your guys' insights. I want to get your opinion. How would you run this monster? How would you ruin this monster? What kind of teammates would you run? Do you think this monster is gonna be meta? I'm looking forward to seeing all of your guys' responses to those questions. Oh, really quickly, everyone, throughout some portions of this video, I mentioned that this monster has elemental advantage against Masterat and Equalaria. No, that's not correct. This monster has elemental advantage against the metal elements. So for Rata, for example, and Vanos, and so not Masterat and not Equalaria. I recorded this after the fact I recorded the video, so I just wanted to put this in the middle of the video to let you guys know that I do know, but sometimes obviously I'm just thinking through a lot of different stuff, so I do make mistakes. I am human after all. Okay, now let's get back to the video. Deathstroke, 35 damage, 0 cooldown, 0 stamina. Very nice, you have a spammable skill, costs no stamina whatsoever. So even if you're not running the Tiny's Amulet, even if you got your stamina drained, even if you got hit with CDA, you have a skill you can utilize that deals 35 damage. Alright, Trick Shot, deals moderate magic damage to an enemy, applies guard down to an enemy, requires cooldown, 30 damage, 1 turn cooldown, 15 stamina. I do not like this skill. Yes, it applies guard down, but don't forget, you already have True Vision. So you yourself, you don't need to apply guard down. Your True Vision will make you land your attacks. The guard down helps to your allies, but this does cost 15 stamina and it does deal 5 less damage. Firebolt deals moderate fire damage. What? That's right, we have a magic monster that also has a fire-based attack. So right now it'll help you against Neurofunk, who is nature-based. So this is 60 damage against a Neurofunk, any future nature monster that gets released, and it applies burn on top of dealing the damage on a 1 turn cooldown, 25 stamina. We have Bullseye, applies pierce to himself, deals heavy special damage to an enemy. I gotta admit, I am super surprised that this only has a 1 turn cooldown, 30 stamina. I really thought because it's a self-pierce skill, it would have like a 3 turn cooldown or a 2 turn cooldown at least. But it is a 1 turn cooldown, which means with Unrelenting Assaults, you are able to do Bullseye. So for those of you that do not have this monster at rank 3, which realistically most of us are not going to get this monster at rank 3 for a while, you are going to be able to do Bullseye. Unrelenting Assault will kick in, then you can Firebolt, and then you can Bullseye again. The cool thing about this is, like, unlike previous Pierce monsters that would apply Pierce then removes Pierce, this monster gets to keep the Pierce. So yes, you can Bullseye, attack whoever you want, and then Firebolt, attack whoever you want, and then Bullseye again and attack whoever you want. It is crazy. Assuming Pierce lasts for 2+ turns. I'm assuming it's not going to last just for 1 turn. Let's see what else we have. Falling Fire deals moderate magic damage and burn to everyone. So this is it. This skill right here is your AoE that is going to trigger your talents. With Falling Fire, like I said, you can run Dispelling Fist and cleanse positive effects from all the enemy team. So if they're running double Megaton Pierce, you can cleanse all the Megatons, you can cleanse the Pierce, and you're good to go. If the enemy Ollie and Mouseron reinstate Megatons, bam, you cleanse it next turn. Right? Because you can cycle back into this. This also has a 1 turn cooldown. It's crazy to me. Actually, no. If you run Falling Fire, let me think about this. If you run Falling Fire, assuming you're running like a 3-speed monster, you run Falling Fire, you cleanse Megaton and Pierce. Next turn, if you single target someone and deal damage, your Dispelling Fist would activate again, so you would have to do a skill that deals 0 damage, and then on the following turn, do Falling Fire again. So maybe it's not that easy. But yeah, first turn you could cleanse it from all the enemy team. What else do we have? Mark the target, applies vulnerable to an enemy, applies negate healing to an enemy, applies burn to an enemy. I like this a lot. So when I was looking at the sneak peek, I don't know why, whenever I see negate healing, I think reverse healing. They are different things. Negate healing just nullifies the healing, meaning the enemy will heal by 0 as opposed to getting damage. So what I really like is reverse healing. The reverse healing mechanic is awesome. I wish it would get implemented more in the game, especially when we have relics that can heal, when we have skills that can heal, and when we have obscure talents that can heal. So I would really love a reverse healing mechanic. This monster has negate healing, which is still pretty powerful. if you look at the rank 5 obscure talents we have right now, and by rank 5 obscure talents, I mean when you put a talent on a rank 5 monster, we have Flesh, Growing Flesh, which heals by 60k points, and I believe Sin Eater will also heal by 60k points. So a monster could potentially survive because of those, but if you're able to apply the mark, if you're able to mark the target and negate healing, the enemy will no longer heal. That is pretty powerful. Also, when I think of like Panicking can do self-life regen, and he has a 40% heal skill. So this could stop the enemy Panicking from healing like that. We have one shot, one kill. So this is a 60 damage special based attack that deals one turn cooldown. So one shot, one kill, 60 damage. And again, you have a fire based attack, Firebolt, which will deal 60 damage against a nature monster, 40 against everyone else. And then your other pierce skill, Bullseye, is also special damage. So then the magic damage skill, Falling Fire, this will have an elemental advantage against the light element. So overall, you have a really strong skill set. Once again, highest power in the game. So you have that one shot, one kill. This is going to be the skill for you Unrelenting Assault players. This is going to trigger Unrelenting Assault pretty much any single time, right? Especially because you get to choose who you want to target. One shot, one kill. Unrelenting Assault kicks in. You can attack someone with a Firebolt, burn them, and then you can one shot, one kill someone else. And then you, okay, so let's see. You attack, Assault triggers, Firebolt, Assault triggers, and then one shot, one kill. Oh my gosh, this monster. The amount of stuff you're going to be able to do, quite powerful. And of course, you can end off with fire against all of the enemy team and burn everyone. And the cool thing about this monster, depending how you play it out, when you do Falling Fire, maybe you damage someone enough to the point where they will die with the burning damage. That way, like, think about this. Oh my gosh, this is really good. Think about this. What if you damage someone enough to where they will die with the burning, but what if you look through their relics and they had a healing relic or an obscure talent where they would heal, but then you end off with Mark the Target? Again, for Unrelenting Assault players, you can one shot, one kill, and then you can Bullseye or Firebolt, whatever you want. Falling Fire, get an extra turn, and then end off with Mark the Target. End off with the negate healing. That way, when the enemy monster goes, the vulnerable plus burn is going to take extra damage. Negate healing, their flesh won't heal the Sin Eater. Sin Eater would actually cleanse the negative effects, so they would still heal. So Sin Eater is a really good counter. But yeah, man, this is pretty cool. So any monster that's not running Sin Eater, yeah, they are gonna not be able to heal. Any relics they have that would normally heal them is not gonna work, and the burning is probably gonna take them down. That is pretty awesome, because I think burning is gonna, yeah, burning with the vulnerable. If I'm not mistaken, that the vulnerable does apply and they'll deal more damage. So burning is normally 15%, so it'll be 22.5% of their HP gone with the vulnerable and burning mechanics. So, whew, this monster, guys, this monster, I am so looking forward to her. She seems really powerful. I'm also trying to think about the defense, right? So if you look at this monster at rank 5, her HP stat, again, she's the squishiest of the bunch. It does not pass 250k. So if you're battling someone that has a Soul Drag, obviously, if this monster kills the Soul Drag monster, you are going to die, assuming it's a rank 5. If you battle someone with a rank 4 Soul Drag, that's 200k damage. So you run really close to dying. If you add in like a Hiram Shield, a Taiga's Trap, anything that deals damage, any regular relic that deals damage when the enemy takes damage, and the Soul Drag, even if it's a rank 4 Soul Drag, you run potentially dying if the enemy's running a Barkhide. Like, let's say you're fighting a Corrupted monster, and one of them is a Barkhide, and one of them is a Soul Drag. Barkhide will deal damage. The Soul Drag, if you kill that monster, will deal damage. So you do run into trouble. If you're battling an equal area base, you're going to have to make the decision of, do you kill equal area? And she could be running Soul Drag. I think what players might end up doing, I used to think that Soul Drag would go on the Megaton monster. More and more I'm thinking, no, Soul Drag is going to go on the equal area, because if equal area is running Soul Drag, you as the attacker have to make the decision. Do I kill the enemy attacker? Well, no, that's a waste, because then equal area will resurrect. Do I kill the enemy Megaton monster? Well, I kind of have to, because if I don't kill the enemy Megaton monster, I can't get to the attacker to equal area. Do I kill equal area? Well, yes, I can kill equal area, but then equal area will kill me. So you're going to need your own equal area to resurrect your fallen attacker that died. What do you do? Right? So it's going to be very interesting, because right now you're going to have to deal with Megaton. So the only way to deal with Megaton is to remove the positive effects and then attack everyone else. What if you're doing the Borna equal area Lady Meow team? you're gonna have to trade disable the top monster, the Boronot, in order to get to Lady Meow or to get to Equalaria. But again, if Equalaria is running Soul Drag, you're gonna have to kill Equalaria, so it gets complicated. Then her Soul Drag will kill you. When she dies, she resurrects anyway, so she's still not dealt with. And then you still have a Lady Meow to deal with, who has Dodgeria. You still have Boronot to deal with. If Boronot is running Soul Eater, if you apply any dot on Boronot, which this monster does the AoE burn, well, the Sin Eater will cleanse, and then you'll get your taunt back. So it's going to be super interesting to see how this game develops. I think this monster is definitely a must-have monster because of the pure trait, because of the different obscure talents you can utilize with this monster. Once again, Dispelling Fist to remove positive effects. Unrelenting Assault is an obvious one. But then you have to figure out ways to keep her alive. So again, running Megaton, running Equalaria to resurrect her. Things are going to be interesting. Things are going to be really, really fascinating with this monster and how it'll influence the meta. So my question to you guys is, first of all, she's a maze monster, right? The reality of Monster Legends is, unfortunately, the maze monsters, players have to invest a lot into getting them ranked up to make them actually usable in the meta. Because the fact of the matter is, we get race monsters, and rank monsters can be gotten at rank 3, rank 4, rank 5. Realistically, rank 3 and rank 4 I think is the most common. So, are you really going to get this monster and invest a bunch of Ludum into this monster when we still have our Megaton monster to invest in? When we still have other monsters to invest in? I don't know. So, because the monster doesn't become as valuable until they're fully ranked up, right? Like, to get the most out of Soul Drag, you need your Megaton monster at rank 5. You need Equalaria at rank 5. And I think monsters that you could probably start prioritizing right now are Equalaria because she can res. And of course the Megaton monsters. Oh, maybe to counter Equalaria bases so you don't have to deal with her. Maybe you run this monster, right? You run Spekthra, and then you run Faye. That way Faye already counters Equalaria running her revival. That way you can focus on the Megaton and on Lady Meow, right? Because if you have Faye and Spekthra together, you can kill Lady Meow, no problem. Lady Meow's dead. Equalaria can't res, so what she's not gonna do anything. So then you focus on the Megaton monster or the Boronot. So that could be a counter there. So again, it's gonna be very interesting to see how everything develops. So this was kind of my analysis on this monster, but also kind of like an overall thought on the meta and how it'll develop and change. So I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this monster? Do you like this monster? Do you not like this monster? Do you think this monster is too powerful, not powerful enough? Any thoughts? Do you think it maybe won't influence the game that much, especially since she's a maze monster? And we've seen from Colonel Pit, players haven't really invested in Colonel Pit because it's just a lot of investment. So players would rather invest in the Master Rat that's already rank 4 from the race, or even the Pandakin that players already got at rank 3. Like, I've seen players rank up Igoribuki before ranking up an Ollie, which to me is like, why would you do that? But again, it's because Igoribuki already comes rank 3 from the Golden Pass. So I'm curious. You guys let me know in the thoughts. What do you guys think about this monster? Will she influence the meta, not influence the meta? Any thoughts? Thank you very much, and remember to subscribe.